This easy tweak to your setup is just going to make the rest of the golf swing so much easier. What we want is to replicate our impact at our setup, or at least a lot closer to it, because less variables, less manipulation, right? Seems kind of obvious, but too often we don't see it. So we want to take a setup, and this is the way you're going to figure it out. Don't even need a club to begin with. I'm going to take my setup. I'm going to make sure that my lead hip is a little bit higher than my trail hip, because that is going to help me pivot and turn. We've got other lessons we talk about it, but I'm feeling braced here. I am strong, I'm balanced, and I'm letting my arms hang. When I let my arms hang here, okay, especially this lead arm, which is like the main sort of structure and hinge point, if you will, it's very loose, but if I let that arm hang with my internal rotation of the upper arm and an external rotation here, if I let that hang, that's where it's going to be. That is where I can repeat my setup every single time. I cannot repeat it when it's back here, when I'm trying to move this hand across. But the easiest thing in the world is to leave this here and just simply bring that right arm across, okay? This isn't difficult, but it might feel weird, but what it's going to do is put my club in the perfect, more or less perfect, impact position. For me to have a good impact, all that needs to do is me get a little bit more open, but that's where I want to be. So why not just make it a little bit easier and start here, okay? By starting here, we can get through, we can release a little bit easier. So how do we rehearse this? Take your setup, let your left arm hang, and bring with the right arm, okay, you bring the right arm in to the left hand here, and I'm setting up that way. Now, the drill I want you to do is to open up the hips a little bit, rehearse what you think an impact should feel like. Where would you want to be? And that's where I want us to start a little mini golf swing. There. And believe it or not, hitting chip shots, little pitch shots, as often as you can with that placement of your hands, your body, that pre-impact, or that impact position, but just pre-setting it, we're just going to make a little movement, but every single time I'm making a nice, clean, crisp contact. I'm creating awareness, neurological pathways to say, that's where I want to be at impact. If I try and start here, okay, and I'm trying to get back into this, I have to work a lot harder to get back there, okay? That momentum can help us sometimes, but too frequently, it's just causing inconsistencies. I form my perfect setup. My lead arm is hanging. It's internally rotated and externally rotated. It's at its end of range of motion. And from here, I'm creating that perfect little impact position. And now I just swing through. It's that simple to execute. What you need to do is rehearse that again and again and again. Keep finding that perfect balance and that arm position. If you find that your arm is a little bit back here when you're taking your setup, if it's nearer the midline, don't just move your arm forward because that's not hanging naturally. Have a play around with it. What happens if you move the pelvis forward a little bit? If we raise that shoulder up a little bit, it moves everything over to be more where we want that impact. And this works just as well with irons as it does with a driver. So keep rehearsing your little routine to get into that position. So I take my setup, I'm holding it in my trail arm. I'm taking my setup, I'm getting balanced. There it is, that's where I want the arm to be. So I'm meeting it here. This is where I want to be. This is where I want my impact to be. But it means as I swing back, I don't have to do any manipulation to bring it back. This is why it works so well. Less has to happen in the rest of the swing, so you can focus on where you want the ball to go and being more consistent. That was just an introduction to that perfect kind of setup, but give the rehearsal, give the pre-impact setup a try. You'll be astonished at what it does to your ball striking and simplifying the rest of the swing. It's that easy. Now, go and check out this lesson because it's going to help you hit the ball that much further with less effort. See you next time.